Somebody got her tea today. It's gonna be a banging video. Listen, I turned that 62 to a 125. 125 into a 250. 250 worth of $500,000. Can't nothing nobody can do with me. Now who with me? Vamonos! Sometimes on this thing, it's rocking and I'm banging on the desk. So I'm gonna try to sit back from the desk when I'm not banging. I don't want to do that. Because in the last video, I know it was like we had to do a couple of jump edits because I just kept banging on the thingy and getting all excited. But you guys know that without my kava tea, my energy be bouncing all over the place. Hi tribe, how are you guys? This video is going to be a juicy one, okay? It's going to be really juicy, so I want you to like just get ready for some sunshine. I want to pour some honey on you guys, okay? But before I pour some honey on you, I want to say this, okay? Some of my videos, you guys know I get really passionate, and I got a phone call because apparently one of my videos I was a little teary-eyed. But if you've ever seen me do poetry jams, or if you've ever seen me read in person, you know that I cry anyway. Especially on the parts where it's extremely emotional when I'm writing something. So if you see me crying on a video for something, it's passion, okay? It's not sadness or worry. It's passion. I've been doing this for a long time. I've been doing it because it is my spirit work. So please understand that if I get extremely passionate, that's because it's deeply connected to my self-identity, okay? It's deeply connected to my self-identity. It's deeply connected to how I've been living my life for as long as I've been living my life, the past 25 plus, since I was 19, excuse me. So since I was 19. So if you ever see me get a little teary-eyed or you see me get like, yeah, rah, rah, rah. If you see that, just please understand that that's passion from an old lady who's been doing it for a long time. Especially because sometimes I can be triggered from an email or a phone call from someone who doesn't believe in themselves. And I'm like, and I'm really quick to say, if I'm talking to them and they say, I just don't feel confident. I'm like, what do you mean you're not confident? Do you know who you are? Do you know where you come from? Do you know your mother? Do you know who your mother is? Do you know who, so that's just me, you guys. And I guess you guys will start to understand it the more you watch and the more you learn me, especially if you're not if you don't know me from around the way, or if you don't know me from Facebook and Instagram days, which most people don't because I didn't really tell people that I was coming over to YouTube. So I know a lot of people here are new to me, but please just understand I'm an extremely passionate woman, and sometimes you'll see me cry or you'll see me get like, rock or, that's just sheer passion because this is my life's work. This is what I do, okay? It's not just me picking up this camera and filming for you guys when I am actually writing or when I'm teaching, watering. But anyhow, so I just want you guys to know that is that I'm extremely passionate, and sometimes if it comes across on the camera that, why is she crying during that moment, it's because I'm connected to every word that I write, okay? I'm an artist. And my writings is my art form. So if I'm reading something from my book and you see that, just be like, oh, she's in her feelings, okay? I'm in my feelings. Yes. Now that I've said that, there's a gentleman who is a football player. And we're not talking about soccer. To all of my soccer lovers, we're talking about American football. Let me say that, American football player. He's an American football player, Russell Wilson, okay? The reason why I'm doing this video is I want to point out some high-profile men, and I want to be able to use the book as a way to describe the characteristics that we know of publicly from the guys that we see out there, okay? And what I say by the profile is that in the book, The Return of Divine Feminine, let's go ahead and put it up there if we can. I'm actually reading from that today, okay? But which we're talking, how I talk about the goat and the penguin and the whale and the honeybee. That we know. Now, there are a few things that we know based on, it being public knowledge. And one of those is that he married singer, dancer, beautiful model, mother, entrepreneur. Oh my gosh, she's an artist all the way around. Miss Ciara, beautiful woman. Okay, I have did a video on Miss Jada Chavis, but that video had to come down. It had some copyright issues and all of those other things. Um, for music. You guys know how I be starting this. I don't know why I start my videos with music, but I be wanting y'all to listen to what I'm listening to before I actually record, but that gets me in trouble. But anyway, so I just never reshared the videos without the music and all that. But in that video, I covered Ciara and how Ciara had this spirit energy of what we call a chameleon. And when I say chameleon, we're not talking about the animal. We're talking about being able to morph or to change into what her lover needs. Now, a lot of women are very, they're very opposed to being the chameleon. They want to be themselves. They want to be who they are completely. But Elder Eden teaches Asana in this last book that's coming up. You know what? I'm going to show it to you. Go ahead. Boom. Show it to him. Yes, real quick. But Elder Eden explains to Asana that in order for her to get certain results from, depending upon the men that she's going to be with, that there is a level of herself that she needs to surrender to surrender. And so Elder Eden teaches Asana that knowing who she's with is extremely important. Not because it will determine how she's going to show up, okay? But it depends on what she's trying to accomplish, okay? So, if you are trying to be a wife, I said this to my sister a couple of weeks ago, that wife is not a title, wife is an energy. Some women possess wife energy naturally. Some women get what their hands call for naturally. Some have not been taught how to get what their hands call for. Some have no idea what that means to get what your hands call for. Getting what your hand calls for is a self-concept idea. Getting what your hand calls for means that you are going to get what you have made up in your mind about yourself and about circumstances, about what you deserve. You're going to always get that level of your understanding, okay? So getting what your hands call for, possessing wife energy. Okay, wife is just not a title. You ever wonder why some women are with some people for a very, very long time and they just never get married for some reason? They're cooking, they're cleaning, they're doing everything that they need to do, but somehow the man never feels, he never gives her the ring, okay? And Elder Eden teaches Asana that wife is an energy. So she says to Asana in the new book, you guys are getting an exclusive, if you decide that you want to be a wife, you must summons the energy. You must summon the energy from your core. Okay? Showing Asana that wife is not just a title and it's not just a duty-filled position, but she's showing Asana that if you choose to be a wife with responsibilities and duties and all of those things, if that is your choice, understand that you have to become that first before a husband will show up. Okay? Elder Eden teaches Asana this in the new book that is coming. Okay? So, wife is an energy. It's something that you become. And you are before your husband even arrives. Now, a lot of people say, well, I am not going to be a wife to men who don't deserve to be, to get wife duties. I completely understand that. But when we are looking at wife from Elder Eden's position, wife is a spiritual transformation happening. It is a becoming. It is a complete transformation energetically. And then that, you become like a tower sending out signals. When you are sending out the signals, it is not I want to get married, I want to get married. That's not what we're talking about. As you are who you are at the state that you are in, whichever state that is, excuse me, hold on, the light is bouncing. Give me one moment, guys. Someday we'll be able to have some good equipment. Let's just keep growing this channel. We're struggling. All right. Anyway, um, the tower energy, when you become the tower, and you're sending out energy just naturally, okay? And you allowing your pheromones to to come from you. They're not all covered up with perfume and all that other crap, right? You're just allowing yourself to be who you are. Then what's going to happen is that who you are daily starts sending out signals. It's like a cell tower sending out signals, right? And then your husband, your mate, your match is on the other side of the world, let's say, okay? He's also sending out signals because now he has made himself become the husband, okay? So he's already that thing. And you're already that thing. And you're both sending signals. And then what's going to happen is that somehow you guys are going to find each other. That is what Elder Eden is teaching Asana in the new book, is that if you decide to be a wife. Now, here's what she also teaches Asana too, is that the position and the title of wife, okay? There's a real deep spiritual meaning that I can't get into today, that Elder Eden talks about in the book. And then of course, after it launches, I'll talk about it at some point. But she talks about the really deep responsibility, spiritual responsibility of being a wife, and how that every woman shouldn't make that choice because not every woman is fit spiritually for that position. So back to what I said, that Ciara took Elder Eden's lesson, okay, and understood that spiritually it made sense for her to summons or to chameleon. She changed into what was necessary for her to have Mr. Russell Wilson. Okay? Now, what do I mean by that? Did she change how she act, how she dressed, She tapped into what his desires were. And she was ready to fulfill it. Okay? And so she became that. Okay? She had to first become the wife. That's one part of the change that we're talking about. Remember, Elder Eda said you have to be that before your husband will show up, right? So she became the wife first, so that she could then start emitting those signals, okay? There's a wife over there, there's a wife over there, there's a wife over there. Men pick up on that. This is the animal kingdom we're talking about here, okay? Let's not forget that, okay? Some things that we are not really looking at is really happening behind the scenes. So yes, when you become the wife, there is an energy that you are emitting. And then when someone else becomes a husband, there's an energy that he's emitting. And then those people are attracted to each other, okay?
Babe! Oh my goodness! Oh my gosh, you guys, it's so good!
I thought he was coming!
What the heck? I love you. I know, I'm taking all my gloss off. You look so handsome. Thanks,
Oh, the best ever.
it's so sweet. Oh my gosh, I can't believe you're here.
The best ever.
Hey, what are you doing here? What the heck? What? Hey, hi, I love you.
I know we're having some problems with lighting today, and I really thought with the new change that it was going to improve that. I want to apologize if you are still here with me watching and learning. Thank you very much for working it out with me. In that video, you saw Ciara's husband come and surprise her, okay? Now, we don't know the details of their relationships, neither should we ever even want to know. I believe that people's relationships should be personal to them. Let people have their lives. But we can use what we are able to see and what is publicly available for us to view that they want to share with us. Of course, we can use that as a measuring tool, right? So, in this case, this gentleman, Mr. Russell Wilson, he took on a woman who had a child by someone else, okay? And he embraced that kid into his life, right? and his family and created an extended family. Well, that's not actually an extended family in this case. Well, yes, it is an extended family. So they created this life for themselves. Okay, they created this life for themselves, uh, and he didn't mind that his wife had a child. Now, there are going to be a lot of people who will say, well, I don't want a woman who has a child by someone else. I'm not raising some other man's children. There's a very unique type of gentleman who thinks that way, okay? That's also a personality trait that you don't want to miss, okay? What people prefer, we can't discount for what they prefer. But there's also something to be said about someone who's willing and incapable of embracing all that a woman is coming with. Okay, in this case, it will be her son. Now, based on Russell Wilson showing up at his wife's event, okay, with some flowers and ready to romance her, according to what we could see, based on the personality types in the book. We're on page 170. 170 is where you get, on page 170 of the Return of the Divine Feminine. Go ahead and put the book there. That's where you can find the characteristics, okay? The goat, all right? Now, the goat, the buck, called the buck, the goat, the buck, okay? The buck in spirit is kind-hearted, okay? He's gentle with his affection, but would not like your independence, okay? He's not going to like you being like a social butterfly. That's the buck, or the goat in this case, okay? As long as you oblige, he'll shower you with love. However, be aware that he will revenge if your love is unrequited. Now, you got to keep in mind that every man has their own individual faults. We all do, right? And so we're just using this as a guide, as a guide, okay? Um, However, be aware that as you oblige, he'll shower you with his love. However, be aware that he will revenge if his love is unrequited, um, or if he has to share your love with someone else, even his own children. Okay, that's the goat. And there's, I don't know, I studied goats for a while. At one point, I think there's a video out there. I don't know if it has like 100 and something thousand views of me on Hi Rosie on Rosie's farm, and there was a goat. I got attacked by a goat, got kicked by a goat, a goat stole by a banana, all those things. But I was just trying to figure out how the buck worked in the animal kingdom. Okay, and I have some. I don't know if there's another video out there. I think it had like 88,000 on. Is it Sammy's farm? Anyway, make a long story short, the buck is a very interesting animal. Okay. He's going to love you. He's going to be around you. He just doesn't want his love, your love for him, to be outshined by your love for another, even if that means it's your own children, okay? That's the buck, that's the goat we're talking about. And then there's the penguin, the cock, okay? The cock, the penguin. The penguin will be faithful, okay, for life, but would need control over the courtship, okay? Control over the courtship means where we're going to eat, how long we're going to be. This week we're going to be at my family's house. We're not going to your family's for Thanksgiving. We're going to my family's. So he's going to need to be able to control that, and you're going to need to be okay with that, okay? Not only is he going to need to be in control of the courtship, but he's going to also need to be in control of the house and the wealth. So how the money comes in, how the money goes out, he's going to want to be in control of those things. If you can relax. So that's the cock. The cock will be faithful for life, but he'll need control over those things. Okay, so if you're looking for a faithful man, and okay, he's going to be great. But he's going to want to control all those things. Remember what I think I said this in like a million videos, that every woman chooses her poison. It's not necessarily poison meaning to kill her, but every mate that you choose are going to have some good parts about them, some great parts, and then some things you're just like, oh, he gets on my nerves. That means that every person that you choose to date, no one's going to be perfect, not even yourself, not even me. None of us are, okay? That's what Elder Eda means when she says every woman chooses her poison. In this case, you're going to have a faithful lover with the penguin, but you're going to need to be able to let him control every aspect of the courtship, the house, and the wealth. If you can relax and give him control, you'll find a great and safe haven with him. You can always trust his words. So if you don't want someone who's going to lie, then perhaps you want to be with the penguin. But understand that you're not going to be able to have control of that relationship because that's what gives him joy. Okay, he likes to control everything, and he is going to not be a happy camper if you're going to want to be in control of those things. Okay, so you can always trust his words, you can also trust his actions, just never appear wiser than him. Now, think about it. Have you ever in your life dated a penguin? Someone who was really good with money, someone who was really good with the home, made sure that all the bills were taken care of, made sure that you guys' schedule was on point, the house was on point, the gardener did the garden, the everything that needed to be taken care of at home, he did. He needed to have control over those things. He was faithful, never lied, always truthful. But the opposite side of what his needs were is that he needs control over the house, finances, and everything, and over the courtship. And do not appear wiser than him. Every woman chooses her poison. That's what Elder Eden is saying, right? The whale. The whale. The bull, okay? The bull. Not the bull like bull, but bull whale. If you know, you know, right? The bull is highly sexual, okay? And will require you to exhaust yourself in his pleasure. So this man is requiring a woman who has a very high sex drive and can keep up with him, okay? Now don't you dare act like you can keep up with the whale in the beginning, get married, and then you slack off when you get married, because with the whale, you're going to have some trouble. The bull is highly sexual. I shouldn't confuse you. I don't want to say the bull so that you guys can get confused. I'll just keep saying the whale so that you understand, okay? But the whale is highly sexual and require you to exhaust yourself in his pleasure. He will for sure take care of you, but can be aggressive if he is sexually frustrated. So this is the guy who is going to be pissed off if you hold sex for him because you just don't feel like it, or because you're punishing him. Maybe he stayed out last night, you're not going to give him sex, and you're not going to cook. You are going to have some problems if you are with the whale, because part of his identity is highly connected to his sexuality, okay, and be able to express his sensuality. The whale is extremely sexual. If you know that on the onset and you decide to marry him or you decide to get into a relationship with him and you cannot uphold that part of the bargain, you are going to be, it's going to be some trouble, okay? And my Bernie Mac voice is going to be some trouble, trouble. Now, so he's going to take care of you. He's going to take care of you. But understand that he can be extremely aggressive if he's sexually frustrated, because he is highly identified by his sexuality and he needs to be able to express his sensuality. It can cause some frustration if he is sexually frustrated. So he needs to work out that energy, okay? He's the kind of man that will get bored easily and is looking for the next encounter. So if you are that woman who says, I'm not giving you nothing, I'm going to punish you, honey, understand he is on to the next adventure with no trouble. And that's because he is highly identified with his sexuality. And there's a deep need for him to be able to express his sensuality. If you can't keep up, if you're not having a ball, if you don't enjoy pleasure, if you don't enjoy sensuality, if you are not in touch with your own sexuality and your own sensuality, and it's not exciting, he is going to be on to the next encounter where he can get what he needs. He is not afraid to cut you off because he loves you so that he can satisfy his deep sexual desires, okay? That is the whale. So he simply enjoys mating for as long as it is fun. He will, however, be honest in his dealings. Be sure to pay attention and to never cleave. That means, okay, pay attention. If he's all of a sudden he's angry, he's upset, he's da 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 da, if you can't figure out what's going on with him, perhaps he's already sexually frustrated, okay? Um, And he needs fun. He needs excitement. He needs joy. He finds pleasure in life and living. A depressed or angry or bitter woman is not going to do well with the whale. He is going to leave you and he is going to be on with the next. He's going to be unapologetic and he's going to tell his truth for what it is. He is not afraid to tell the truth as it is. He's going to tell you this is going to be for fun. He's not going to be forced into tell me you love me kind of relationships. You gotta love me. He's not going to be forced. He's he's driven by his need to just enjoy life, and he's off to the next experience wherever he can get that. Now we so far went over the whale, we went over the penguin, and we went over the goat. Any of those three match what we saw in that small clip of Russell Wilson. Okay, just think about it. Now we are on to the boar. The boar will allow a free thinker. He encourages independence. Okay? He is the only personality trait for a woman who is in complete control over herself. Okay? He will protect you if necessary, but will give you enough space to fly. The boar is usually a male of great independence, okay? Assertiveness and bravery. He's a logical thinker, a mover and a shaker. He's confident, but he's loving. He's hard to find because he is rarely in groups and generally likes to travel alone. To find him, you must walk into him by chance. You must be aligned in spirit. Your heart must be pure and clean and ready to further evolve. He's extremely intuitive. He's the man of the gods. He's a blessing. To attract an encounter with him, you have to be complete you. He will not accept mediocrity, nor a hateful woman. His only trouble is he can easily walk away from a lover without regret or sorrow. Okay? The boar is an extremely interesting male. Okay? Extremely interesting. If you are a creative woman, if you are a woman who's about her business, if you are a woman who is what they call nowadays boss babes women are not for every type man. Every type man that is too much energy. Oh my gosh, too much energy for a for number one, a honeybee could never accept a boss babe, okay? The penguin would definitely not accept the boss babe. The goat, oh my gosh, are you crazy? Absolutely not. He has to share you with all of your millions of fans on YouTube. No way, Jose. The boss babe, the artist, the performer, the Ciaras, okay? The only personality type, according to Elder Eden, that is going to work for a woman like Ciara is the male who is the boar. Okay? Now, when Elder Eden said in order for a woman like Ciara to come in contact with a man like Russell Wilson, who, based on the small clips that we know, okay, and from him accepting her child in his life and creating a family from that, we know that he's a boar. Remember what Elder Eden said is that the boar is very rare. He's very rare. He's not going to be in large groups. He's going to be traveling alone. Okay. He is very clear. He's assertive. He's smart. He's a mover and a shaker. He's on the go. And and if you want to be mediocre, he is not going to accept that at all. He is going to say goodbye. So if you are a woman who just wants to do this, so if you are bare minimum Becky, you are not going to do well with the boar. He will leave you in a hot second. However, the boar really loves a woman. He enjoys a woman who has a life of her own. She's not dependent completely on him. There's a little bit of pride that he gets out of looking at his woman for who she is and how much she has accomplished. Not every man can accept a woman who is out front like that because not every man is built for every woman. Yes, for every man, there is a woman equally yoked or equally matched. But what happens is We don't find our match because we want everyone to be the match. We want the first person who comes along that says that they adore us, that they love us. We want them to be right, so we make them right, okay? We make them right. But if you don't tap into the personality type of the person that you're with, you are likely to set yourself up for some hurt. So I went through all of those personality types because I wanted you guys to really understand them if you don't have the book. And if you're just following here on YouTube, I want you to understand that based on what we can see or sorry about that, guys. It's very scary. I ended up taking a niacin, so if my face starts really turning beet red, and if you watch this video, it means that I was able to make it through the video. But somehow I had this really strong pain in my arm, and I'm very health conscious, so I'm like, hey, mama don't know if she's having a heart attack, but we're gonna stop that real quick. Let me go and get some niacin and a few things that I had to take real quick, okay? So if you're watching this video, all is well. Oh, it's already changing my voice, so excuse me. Anyhow, this next person that I'm going to play for you is also who falls under the same characteristics of the boar. This man allows his woman to be as alive and as vibrant as she wants to be, and he takes her in. Not every man can have a woman like that because not every man can deal with the fact that she's as alive as she is. Some men prefer their women to be a little bit more subdued, to be a little bit more reserved, to be a little bit more fall in the background. I don't want to have to deal with, competition of you and other men. But see, the boar is very self-aware. He's very confident in his okay, and he doesn't mind his other half being shining just as bright as he's shining. Okay, this clip. Let me go ahead and play it for you, and we'll be right back. Go ahead, run that.
All right, I had to do a voiceover here because Steve Harvey had music on this clip. He was playing Beyonce's Partition. Drive a roll up the partition, please. He knew what he was doing, but I don't want to get any copyright strikes, so let me tell you something. This couple is the ultimate boar in action. He shines, she shines, they both shine brighter. They're not restricted by their age, darling. They are living their lives.
Now the boar, you're not going to see him with a lot of people. It doesn't mean he doesn't know a lot of people, and it doesn't mean a lot of people don't know him. But there's one thing that we cannot deny about the male who is the boar. When you see the boar, it's like a boss just showed up, okay? I remember, I don't know if you guys remember my first video I did of the time that I fell in love, and it was it was hilarious, the hilarious story that way back when. But I talked about how um, he was always in the back of the places, and that was intriguing for me. Okay, I don't like the guy who's up front. The honeybee will never work for me, but the boar, oh my gosh, when we see each other, it's like my gosh, okay? The boar is my personality. It takes a certain man to be okay with a woman like the boar is a fine man. He is a fine man. He's a leader. He's out wandering by himself. He's probably even traveling overseas by himself. He is doing things on his own. He's self sufficient. He's self assured. And he doesn't mind his woman to fly. That guy is my kind of guy. Now, for all of the sisters out there who are looking for someone, darling, 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 if Elder Eden had to say anything to you, she would first tell you that it is your choice. Do not let or allow society to make you feel less than who you are as a woman because life just hasn't worked out like they said it should be working out for you. You choose. You decide if you want to be married, then what do you have to do according to Elder Eden? You have to summon the energy of a wife before a husband will even show up. The second thing that you have to do is what? Allow yourself to be as you are and allow the signals to go. And quite naturally, what will happen is the suitors will show up. You don't have to go searching for them and looking and finding them and all of that stuff, right? You want to be a wife, just be that, and then they will show up. The second thing is that if you are single and you're just searching and you are a modern woman, okay, understand that not every man is going to be for you. And you're not going to be for every man. Some men like their women subdued. They don't want them too loud or too this or too that or too that. And everybody has a right to their choice. So be it, right? But you yourself also have a right to choose who you want to be with, who you want to be and who you want to be with, and how you want to choose to live your life. You choose it. Don't be swayed by what society got going on. You choose, darling. You going. Anyway, until next time, be empowered, be inspired, and be well.